Oh, you're now being recorded, so anything you say will be used against you in a court of Texas school Photoshop class. So
I'm gonna make a TikTok video out of this. What? Okay. Open the box.
Human. It'd be great.
So we found Sandra yet?
Chatting with her. She's not sure she's gonna make it.
Okay. Well, then we'll go ahead and get started. Then I'm gonna close that. And get that ready. And let me go ahead and share my screen.
What did you say?
Okay, Janelle, since you're the host now, can you go allow me to share my screen? Yeah, if you go down to share, and it'll say
share. There you are. Share.
Multiple presenters, okay?
Can share simultaneously. All right, try that. I can see your screen.
Okay.
Sandra said she will try and get here.
Okay. Let me get rid of that. Put this over here. Let's see. Can y'all see that okay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Because last time I tried Keynote with Zoom, it didn't work real well. So.
I'm already impressed that you did a PowerPoint.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you something, honey. It's a whole new ball game right now because Don Dixon, he gave me the task, and he will attest to this. He said, "This is my last year." He said, "I want you to bring the biggest can of Photoshop whoop that you can bring." And I said, "They're not." I said, "They haven't been ready for it all these years." He said, "I think they're ready." I said, "Okay, we'll give them a shot." So I'm gonna unload everything I got on y'all. And let me tell you, it's gonna hurt you because I'm not playing, and I'm coming after you, and you're gonna learn so much. You're gonna be so, but I'm a lot. So anyway, I'm Richard Sturdevant, in case you don't know me. But then if you're interested in taking this class, we're going to show you what we're going to do and the schedule what we're going to do with and how we're going to do it this year. Last couple of years, we've done. I've done a couple of different things, but starting back with the Viking thing about 3 years ago, and we did costumes. We've been doing that for 3 years, and Tanya came on and helped me too. And Tanya's doing her own pre-con class this year. I was trying to get her on too, so I could promote her pre-con class. But Don wanted me to teach the full-blown Photoshop composite, and he wanted me to do what I've always wanted to do. And now that the skill level has got so high out there, and everybody's doing so well, I can just let it roll. And I'm just going to throw it out there and go, and I'll explain to you. But it's not just going to be we're going here. Oh, we'll put a background there, and do this, do that. No, we're going. This is a composite university right here. We are going to go directly into every aspect of composite storytelling, color harmony, all of these things. And of course, this image we'll be breaking down. I'll break this down a little bit in it here. This is one of my favorite images. In fact, this image here, I had to do another embellishment. I'm working on another embellishment because I had to send my other one to Canon because they're actually taking it. They have a 3D printer now. They can actually print 3-dimensional texture flat prints artwork. So it can take a textured oil painting and recreate it. I don't know how it does it, but I guess I'll get to find out when they get it. So this one's going there, and then the Raven is going as well. And then in imaging, we're going to have this on display with this is going to be the new embellishment of it. And it's going to have my wall art stuff with it as well. So it'll be kind of cool. We'll be talking more about that through here. Now, my class, just so you know, is the art of creating composites. Not a very exciting title, but it's just should be called opening up a can of whoop is what it should be called. But that's what we're going to do. And everything that I've done over the years, this is my 14th year of teaching there. And except for the COVID thing, I guess we take that out, 13 years. And anyways, I've done a lot of different types of classes. My class is never the same. I never do the same content. I'm always taking people and pushing them to the next limit and pushing them to the point to where they almost shut down when they leave, but then it starts, because of the videos they get and because of the notes they get, they start processing this stuff and it starts helping them. And there's a lot of people that, been able to help with these classes over the years. Now, I'm not for everybody, and I'm just going to tell you that up front. I'm a lot. But I did give everything to my teaching. Sandra, Amber, Kenzie, Sandra, when she gets on, they can all testify to my dedication to what I do, and I give you my all. In fact, it takes me about 3 weeks to recover from Texas school because I give you everything. And we may be shooting to 3 o'clock in the morning if you want to some nights. It's up to you, but we will. And because I'm there for you. I'm there to make sure that you get everything that you wanted. Now, we don't always do that. People don't always get what they want because their expectations are different. That's why I'm doing that. So your expectations are very, very clear of what you're going to get. So if you come in my class and all of a sudden, we're going 90-0, you go, ooh, I want you to know that beforehand. Now, I've been teaching 25, 30 years. Taught art before that. So I'm a good teacher, and I also recognize good teachers. And I'm also able to help other people become better teachers. And so if I'm not for you, what I'm going to do is give you recommendations of who I think, if you like composites, the type of work I do, the type of classes that would benefit you, and the creators and the instructors behind that, is I'm going to give you my personal endorsement for these people. It's not because of where I'm friends with them. I am friends with them, but it's because of their skill set, their talent, and their ability, and the experience. First of all, Sandra Pierce. If I'm not for you, and you want to learn how to paint, you want to learn, and you want to have a good time, Sandra's class is where you need to go. Because Sandra, she's been teaching for years. She's really good. She's like my mother. But she'll take me to task too. If I'm not doing my job, she'll get on me, and you'll have a lot of fun in that. Janelle, who's handling my administrator tonight, who is a good friend of mine, she's taken Sandra several years, had a blast every time and learned something new every time. So if you want to do Photoshop painting, and let me tell you, Sandra's the one who created Photoshop painting in our industry. Photoshop may have made it, but she's the one that perfected it. And if she was way back, all these people think they're painters, if they were the originals, they're not, because she's the one that originally did that. And she can teach you things that are unbelievable. Now, the second person I'm going to recommend to you, if you like the type of work that I do, but maybe I'm not for you, maybe I'm going to be, my class is going to be too tough, maybe, is Shannon. Now, she's like she's like my little karate kid, and we met a long time, and she's just like the biggest professional ever. She can do anything. She can draw, she can paint, she can dance on her tiptoes while she's wading in the water. I don't know, but she can do almost anything that she wants to do, and she's a great teacher. And so if you're not going to go with me, she might be an option for you, and I would really have you look her out. I'm going to let her say something in just a second. And then my third choice that I want you to go for, you got Sandra, Shannon, and new this year is Amber Demore. Now, the reason I'm recommending Amber Demore plainly is because she is like a bad to the bone talent that is just unbelievable. And she's got determination and grit like you ain't never seen, like me. I mean, I can survive anything. And so she or Shannon and Sandra. And Amber's probably one of the most talented, naturally talented people I've ever met. And I always say to people, it doesn't matter what Amber decides to do, whether she wants to be a massage, whether she wants to go be a nurse practitioner, whether she wants to, go be a stockbroker, artist, a photographer, whatever she's going to be, she will definitely be the best at it. I promise you that. That's how good she is. And I believe in her that much. And so if you don't want to go with me, I can't see why, because look. I mean, I'm just a lot of fun. But if you can't, she's a lot better looking than me anyway. So it might be better. But you're definitely going to get a good class. And me and Amber have worked before. And one thing about Amber is like when something clicks in her head, it's done. It's over. She knows it. Am I right, Amber? And then I'm gonna. She's not a class, but I got Kinsey, and is she still in here, Kinsey?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Kinsey Hunter, which she made the World Cup this year, and so did Amber, and I and Amber are in the finals. We get to go to Ecuador. And how many did you get in, Kinsey? 3 or 2?
Into the World Cup or Icon?
Yeah. World Cup.
World Cup was 1. Okay. Amber got 2 and you got 2, right?
You're right. And then you got how many in the Icon finals?
Oh, 3 or 4.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot. So we're all in the finals. We're all in that. Amber's in the. We'll be going to Ecuador. Amber's also in the finals at Icon. And Kinsey's just been hitting the trail. If you go to the printcompetition.com and you go and look at Kinsey's name, you're going to see her on the 100 board. She's been scaring people because everywhere she goes, she's been scoring these high scores and everything. And she is a force to be reckoned with. And so she is actually going to be wrangling for me. And the reason I want her wrangling for me is because of her ability for Photoshop and her ability to teach. She's a great teacher. And I don't know how long I'm going to be doing this because I am 60 years old, but I want to, whether it's next year or the year, maybe she'll either have her own class or maybe she'll take mine, or take me over if I decide to move on. But Kinsey's definitely going to be teaching, and I want y'all to get to know her, and she's going to be in my class. So you're not only going to have an instructor that's in the World Cup, but you're also going to have his assistant in there who's also in the World Cup. So it's not a bad deal all the way around. Now, Shannon, just say a couple things about your class real quick so we'll get started, so I can get this going.
Well, it's funny because I actually see a couple people who were in my class last year. So you probably described it pretty well. Like if you're not ready for Richard, my class is probably a really great place to start as well. So what we focus on, I can do all the compositing and stuff, and we actually end the class with compositing, but we start with the class with all of my fine art portrait stuff. Some of the stuff that you've seen in like when I won the overall GIA, and a lot of my World Cup images have been, I'm going to show you everything that I do from start to finish with my fine art portraits. So that's where we'll start, and we'll just kind of, like I said, wrap it up with some compositing. It is it is intermediate to advanced, so I do want people to know about that. So if you are unfamiliar with setting up layers in Photoshop, if you don't know how to navigate, if you don't know how to load your tools in Photoshop, if you're editing on an iPad, this is probably not the class for you. I will be doing some vetting for my class as well to make sure everybody's kind of up to par with what they need to know for my class so that everybody leaves knowing everything that they need to know and everything they want to know. And I have the best wranglers too. So sorry, Kenzie.
Nuh-uh.
That's why I didn't like this Zoom, because I can't get rid of this window out of it. Okay, man. All right. So thank you, Shannon. I'm sorry I didn't mean to interrupt you, but Shannon is a class act, and I don't believe there's anybody that's ever hasn't regretted taking her class. She's a leader in this industry, and she's going to be for years to come. Amber?
Hey.
Would you like to? Oh my gosh, she got her little girl too. Well, we got all the pretty girls tonight. Gosh, she looks just like you. Oh my goodness. Are you frozen?
She does. She looks just like me when I was her age. Can you hear me?
Yeah. You were freezing up a little bit. All right, Amber.
Can you guys hear me?
Talk about this. Okay. You're new this year. And,
okay.
And I'm telling them that, if I'm not an option for them, they should go to you. So tell them a little bit about your class.
So I'm really excited this year since it's the 50th anniversary that I was invited to come teach, and been a big goal of mine to be able to do that. So similar to what Shannon and Richard have talked about, we will touch on composites in my class. We will be doing a lot of fine art portraits and storytelling. So with a lot of my images that have been doing really well in competition this year, so much of it is storytelling. So I want to go through that process. How do I come up with my ideas? How do I then formulate that in my brain and translate that into imagery that can sell to your clients or be successful in print comp? And then I've had this question asked a lot. I've had messages about this. Will I be doing any of my outdoor portraiture? And so the answer is yes. I'm still coordinating how all of the logistics of that will work out, but I'm hoping, since I am native to the Dallas area and I know all the great spots this time of year, it'll be bluebonnet season. And so I'm hoping that we'll get to take a little adventure and do some of the outdoor portraits that I'm become known for. So it'll be a really exciting class. From start to finish, we'll do it all.
It's gonna be good. She's good at what she does. And
Richard, Sandra just joined.
oh, Sandra, where you at, Mama?
I'm here.
Can we see you?
I don't know. Probably hadn't turned myself on.
There's my Mama Sandra. All right, so Sandra, I introduced you a while ago. Basically, what I'm doing
Thanks.
is like tell them, hey, I'm a lot and I'm intense, and if I'm not for you, then these are the people that I recommend. And especially, and I told them that you were basically the person that started the real Photoshop painting in Photoshop. While everybody else was a Corel painter, you were doing it all in Photoshop before they ever knew there was painting in Photoshop. And so go ahead and talk about your class real quick, and so they can have an option.
Okay, I see me now. I'm over on the side. An option. Okay. All I do is if anybody wants AI, they don't need to come to my class because I don't teach AI. I teach you how to paint using Photoshop. It's not that I have a problem with it. It's just not what I want to do. I don't want to cut something out and throw a background behind it that somebody else made. I like to do it from the beginning to the end. I have no problem with other people doing it. It's just not what I'm going to do. And so if you want to come to my class to learn how to paint, then that's what I do. If you want to learn AI, you have to go to other classes that Texas School's offering, but I don't. It's plain and simple. I'll teach you the tools in Photoshop and the techniques that you paint with. I remember when I first started doing this, I sent Richard a cowboy, and I had painted it and I was so proud of it. And he looked at it and he said, "Yeah, this part's good. Where's the rest of it?" Do you remember the picture, Richard? And he said, "Where's the rest of it?" And I said, "The rest of it? What do you mean?" He said, "Where's the story?" And I've remembered that ever since. Where's the story? And then I went and found cows that I had photographed, and I put the cows in with it, and that's where the story was. And it's still one of my favorite pieces that I've done. And that was when I first started to teach this. So just so you know, it's nice to know the background of what you are going to be painting and doing rather than somebody else throwing it in for you. So from ground up, it just is good for you to learn where it comes from. AI has its place. I haven't figured out where it has a place with me yet because I don't want somebody else's work with my work. It's my work and I work hard at it, as does Richard. And I know we're from the old school, and AI is the new school. when I look at it, it is so perfectly done. I can tell you an AI immediately because there's nothing on it that looks human. It's all done that way, and that's fine for the people that want to, but you don't see the detailed work that I see when I see Shannon, when I see Richard. I see their work that comes from them, not from other people that have put it there. So, and I'm seeing Richard's boxer here. I know when he did it. I know the pieces that he put in with it. And of course, I've been watching Richard before he was Richard. I tell people I knew Richard Sturdevant before he was Richard Sturdevant. And I've watched him grow and I've watched him improve. And of course, I'm a big fan of his. And have I taken his class? Yes, I've taken his class. I haven't taken Shannon's class because we're always teaching at the same place. So I've not, but one day when I don't teach anymore, I will take Shannon's class. And I have had her at Florida where I sat in a class and I have sat in
home at
and
10.
watched. But that's what I do. I teach painting. And you will, I put something on my Facebook page, and it was one of my students from last year, and she did a horse, and she painted all of it. And
Turn it again.
Yep.
She said to me, I started with the eyes. Why do I start with the eyes? Because it becomes an alive piece when it's looking at you. And so I do the eyes first for that reason, so you're involved with it. Do I need to say anything else, Richard?
You've been great. Well, I love your stuff. And let's before we jump into this, Sandra, you kind of brought that up. Let's go ahead and get the elephant in the room. Let's talk about AI for a second and where my position is. One, I'm a pot stirrer. I like stirring a pot. And here's the problem with AI that a lot of us have. I've got an article on here that I never did publish because I felt it would be detrimental to the industry because of my basically findings on it. AI, all of the other really photographers, artists that have been doing this for years and teaching and stuff, they've all dived into it, played with it. Sandra hadn't, but she don't want to. She don't care. I dove in it for a year just to figure out everything. I even used it some in my Texas school class, which I wasn't real pleased with. It's not that AI is bad. It's the dishonesty that becomes behind it. Because what happens is people get it and they think they created this. And they can tell me they created all they want. But let me tell you, art is not a thought, is not a word, it is not a prompt. It is a journey of self-discovery. Art is about finding out who you are inside. Whether it's photography, that's why you get into it. And if you can't produce it on your own, and then you go to a program to produce it, and then all of a sudden you market yourself as a star, you're a fraud. I'll call it to your face. I don't care. And that's just the way it is. Now, I'm not against AI. I use AI for clients and some stuff like the finish. I had a shoulder the other day that, they wanted this image that I went in too close and it cut off the shoulder. I could have took another shoulder over there, but all I did is circle it, generate it, and popped in that shoulder and matched the dress, and it was fine. And so little things like that. There are tools for AI, like the remove tool and some of the generative fields or content aware fields, those things like that. There's different rules for different competitions for that, but those tools can help you. But when you go in and generate a background and then put a subject in there, and most of the time they don't even match the lighting correctly in the subject. And so that's where my problem comes in. And I will call people out. I have no problem with it. And if they want to, advertise that they're that crazy good at it, then let them go on stage with me. Go head to head. Let me see your layers. Let's do it. And I don't mean to be aggressive about that, but so many people are so cocky about it out there. Oh, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. No, you're not. You're not. And people say, oh, use AI to increase your business. Most of them haven't even used it for business because most of them aren't even doing AI for their business. They're just playing with it. And it's a rabbit hole that you get into. And I'm just going to tell you, it's my opinion. You can take it for what it's worth. If you don't like it, you can check out. But I'm going to tell you my opinion. My opinion is that if you go down that rabbit hole and you stay down that rabbit hole, you're going to get sucked in, you're going to get lazy, and you're not going to improve. And then people are going to pass you by because everything that's being done, anybody can do. Anybody can do on a phone app. I can do. I proved it the other day with Kobe. Just let her push buttons. She typed in some gibberish and it created an image. So, that's where I'm standing. And so my thing is, if you're going to invest money, make sure that you invest money into techniques and instruction that can help you. Now, if you want to learn AI, then go learn AI. But I'm just letting you know, if you're in this industry, this is a photography industry, even though we're imaging industry and we're art and AI follows under imaging, it has always been, no matter how much art has been in this industry, it has always been based off of photography. And AI is not based off of photography. So that's where I'm at. And so you can say I'm pretty passionate about it. And I can do anything in AI that anybody else could do. I can take on any one of those instructors at Texas School that teach AI, and I can match them for tit for tat. It ain't a problem. Then I can go in and do my real stuff and then totally kick their butt. And I don't mean that to be cocky. I've had enough of all these people. I've had a lady last year who sold a bunch of stuff to a company and claimed it was her artwork before everybody knew what AI was. And she lied. She told me she created this, and it was a lie. And so if you got to lie about that, then you don't even need to be in this business. I'm going to let it go. That's what I feel about AI.
Oh, boy, let it go. I started it. So,
so anyways, all right. So we're recording, and I'll put this recording up so anybody that shouldn't hear this will hear it. But the image that's to the right here before I move on, and this is my class. This is my image in the finals in the World Cup, which me and Amber and I'll probably come in second to Amber. But I think we got a real good chance of taking that trophy this year, don't you, Amber? You're
muted, Amber.
Yeah, I do, because we have 12 in the finals. We have more than any other country does. Obviously, other countries could have higher up medalists and still beat us, but just the fact that we have the most in the finals is a good sign.
I just can't wait to get around all those international people and just break out my accent. I'm ready to go. But anyways, this image here, we're going to talk about this in a little bit. This image has so much hurt, pain, redemption, joy, grit. It has everything in this. The title that went into the World Cup, I had to enter it fast. And there's a version in the World Cup, and there's a slightly different version in Icon. And in the World Cup, it's called Never Defeated. And it's also in the finals for IPC as well. It's called Never Defeated. And then right after I uploaded that, I come up with the title Soul Fight. And that's what I named it for Icon. And it's called Soul Fight there, Never Defeated in the World Cup. However, each title will fit it there because this basically, and I'll talk more about it, but I'm going to show you I created everything in this image. I created the ghouls. I created the birds. I made the wings by themselves. I thought I had it in here, but I don't. I had the wing. I took a black crow, stuffed black crow, and then painted it white and photographed it and then turned it into a dove. The ghost, that was an old Walmart mask, and I went in and sculpted over it and painted it and distressed it and everything, and then created all this fabric around it and had different skulls and stuff. The boxing ring was created. I shot this at Texas School last year. I had the boxing ring there. Shannon came in and photographed it. Kenzie came and saw it. She saw it. I don't know. She's probably gone already. But the boxing ring was one 6 scale, and it was about 4 foot wide, and I measured that, and I'll show you the images of that to create this. And this is about we are in constant battle of spiritual warfare. I mean, we are being attacked on a daily basis. I mean, I've had so much stuff happen to me this year that if the normal person, if you weren't crazy like me, would go, I quit, and I just keep going because I know I've got a guardian angel. He's protected me from getting killed 2 weeks ago in a car wreck where I totaled my truck. I got sick and lost a bunch of weight, and got COVID with the pneumonia and thought I was never going to get over it. Got a dead nerve in my hand, all those things. I got, had so much stuff in the beginning of the year. It's not even funny, but I never get tired. I never wean from what I'm going to do. And I have a mission that I'm going to do. And my mission is to help others. And my mission is to help them believe that you have what it takes inside of you. Because every person I have ever met that wanted to be an artist, they all didn't think they were good. They didn't think they were an artist. They didn't think they could. And if you were ever artist, you picked up a pen, you drew, maybe you went and, you were a housewife, you raised your kids, maybe you were a massage therapist, maybe you were a lawyer, maybe you were a doctor, whatever, maybe you worked on the dock, I don't know, and you did all this year, maybe you were a police officer, now you want to, create your art. Every one of them, that's a dream of theirs. They had to do something else to do what they needed to do in life, but now they want to do their art. And they need someone to show them how they can believe in themselves. Because it's really, you think about it, Shannon, Amber, Kinsey, all the people I've worked with, even Sandra, I don't teach them how to do things. I don't teach them art. I teach them to see. I see their eyes. I remember with Amber, we were going on this image one time, and all of a sudden her eyes just, boom. And I knew at that moment that it all gelled with her. She knew exactly what I was saying. And every element in a composite has a purpose. It has a story. There are stories within stories in a composite. You can tell a story with color. You can tell a story with contrast. You can tell a story with perspective and scale. All of these things. And I want to help you understand that. I want you to understand the micro techniques that actually make these things work. Because you can do them. People can show you you could do them. But why do you do them? Why do they work? Why are you using that tool? Why are you going with that? And this right here, this image here has all of that in there. I created it. I even created the brushes that I used in this. I set forth that I would not use anything unless I created it. Now, I've used stock photography for years, teaching and stuff like that. And I got some images I can't compete with. However, now I'm building everything. I'm building miniatures. I'm building this, or go out and photograph it. And there's so many things that you can do that can make your stuff original. And you can use AI for, let's say, inspiration. I use AI for inspiration. I'll take it and I say, oh, that's really cool. That's a cool look for armor. Then I go build the armor and then I photograph it. That's all me. That just gave me an idea. And anytime I don't ever copy anything, anytime I look at an idea, it just spurs me on to create something. And once I get to creating, it takes a life of its own. And so this image right here, when you see it up close, and I'm going to have a large one at imaging in my booth. We're going to be on the front row. It's going to be printed on rag metallic. And it's got an embellished piece with it. And wait till you see this. This is really cool. But the technique and the grit in here, because Robin Keeley is my model on this, and she modeled for Texas School for me, and she modeled for some other stuff. And she's a beautiful lady, but she had the confidence to be able to go in there and get all beat up and, get the makeup done and to not look her best. And man, she just nailed it. And I took it from there. And a lot of this piece right here, I'll talk more about it, has a lot to do with what she's been through in her journey, because we're friends. I talked about it with her, and what I've been through in my journey over the last 4 or 5 years. And all of that's inside of this image. So that's what we're talking about. When Amber talks about storytelling is what gives the image a soul. You can make a clay figure, but if God doesn't put a soul in it, it's not going to move. You have to put a soul into your art, and that soul comes from you. And it may be motivated from a higher being. It may be motivated from pain. It may be motivated from joy. It may be motivated from, anything. The thought is the beginning, not the end. With AI, the thought's the end, because that's all you do. But with this, I'm going to show you how to get in. I'm going to show you how to tap into your own emotions and how to control your emotions during our class when you're working with some. Some of these things I do, I get so involved and so intense in these. I get emotional sometimes. I was working on the image of my granddaughter. I was crying like a baby while I was working, because art's not about confining your emotions. Art's not about holding them back. Art's about letting them go. Just let them explode. Let your emotions explode creatively out there, and then try to create something that's just you. And you need to be you. And I can show you all the techniques. And a lot of constructors show you techniques, but I'm going to show you the how and the why inside. So now I'm going to move to the next one.
Hey, Richard, I got to run. Dinner for the kids.
Oh, okay, girl. Love you. See you later.
Love you. Bye, you guys.
Okay. So I'm just going to go by Amber. Like this image here. I created this image, and I created this last year. I had a Santa. I went out and did a consult, and I photographed the Santa, and the Santa ended up being kind of weird, so I didn't like him. I didn't want to deal with him, so I took him out of there. And lo and behold, I did a pretty good job setting in this place. But we got little Kobe there, and then my son and Maddie, and then we got now I just to be full disclosure, this body is part AI because he wouldn't cooperate. And I got his face, but I created a body of AI and then took a couple of pieces and composite them together. Now, if I use AI pieces, which I did in this image, which I will totally disclose anything I do. I don't ever want to be dishonest about anything. But I don't use AI to create a background. I don't use AI to create give me a sleigh. No, I use parts, embellishments. This is a part from I'll take this and if I can later pull the layers open, but this opens up and then you can slide me and her in there, and then you got all the toys, you got different layers, then you can put that in there, and then you got the dog. And so you can make this go anywhere you want to. And this is just to have fun. And I hope I won Best Christmas Card this year. So anyway, let me get this little thing out of the way. Okay. All right. So here's the class. We're going to talk about composites. I'm going to go over this real quick with you. You got simple composites, you got complex composites, and, but how do you approach it? One, creating a concept and the story of the composite. That should be your beginning, because the foundation is what you build your house on, and your composite has to have a foundation. It has to be solid, because if it is not solid in the beginning, it will fail. And it will not be very good for people to view, and it won't be good for competition. So you have to have a foundation, because if it doesn't have a solid foundation, it's going to crack and it's going to fall. And so, but the concept, what do you have ideas? How do you get those ideas into place? Well, one, start taking notes. You got your little iPhone. Keep your notes on there. You got notes. You can dictate into that, or you can record it on the recorder on your phone. I usually dictate into the notes or do the recorder, but I like it where it types it out and I can take it and then go edit it or whatever. But ideas. Now, you ever had this great idea? You're driving down the road, all of a sudden, oh my God, I'm a genius. And then you have to pee and you forget. I mean, I'm 60 years old. That happens a lot. But that's why you got to write it down. I've got a little sketchbook that I keep with me. I just sketch them down. They don't have to look. I mean, I'm a good artist. I can draw anything I want. However, I just do little stick figures. I just need a little, idea of it. And so I encourage you to keep notes, keep something with you. If you got an idea, write it down right then. There may nothing ever come of it. However, what if it does? What if it's the image that puts you on the map and takes you over to a whole nother level? Now, I like to create a director's list. If you think about it, a composite is like directing a movie. Okay. One, you got your director who's actually going to do the shoot and going to put that together, but you also have your producers. Now, you're going to be your own producer, and the producer is in charge of getting all the things in place, locations, clothing, models, all that kind of stuff. You may have somebody assistant at your studio that helps get all that stuff. You know, the list for the photo session, the model, the props, costumes, anything you could think of. And you can make a list. I used to do a little circle. Here's my image, and then I would draw out model. And then on the model, I'd write, this is what the model needs to look like. This is what her body needs to look like. This is what age range she needs to look like. Then I would go to the clothing. This is what the clothing looks like. This is what I need. And that way I'd have this whole list of everything I'd need, and everything pertaining to the model would keep branching out for the model. And so you would get that. Now, once you get all that stuff and you get everything you need, or what you think you need, sometimes you collect more than you actually need, but that's okay. Then you will be able to create your solid foundation, and then you work on your composition. You got all your tools. So on the foundation, you go to the composition. Your composition is the ignition to your story. It's the one that starts the story. It starts the engine. Composition does. Decide what kind of look and style and technique you will choose. On the boxer, I went with a different technique, a new technique that I developed myself. It's based off of my pencil drawing technique that I did. And I went with a vision of the look of Sin City in pencils. Okay, that was my look. That's what I wanted. I wanted that kind of grit. I wanted that desaturated, that black and white look, that cold, dark feeling. And I wanted that. And once you decide that style, then, and here's what I see a lot of people doing, and is that they know what they want, but they don't know what style to use. They don't know what to how to get there. And so I'll show you some techniques during our class, and we're also going to do pre-training. We'll get to that as well. Technical extractions and blending, color theory, color swatches, all of these things are what the producer would take care of. For example, if you need a lot of technical extractions, okay? Now, you're an artist. If you're a true artist, you don't want to do those because they suck when you go in there and do that. But I do them anyways because I'm doing it my own artwork. But if I got a bunch of volume stuff, I will send it out. But now it's so easy to take out a background. It appears to be easy. There's a lot of little pitfalls in there that people don't know about, and they find out when they're printed and it doesn't look good. But I can show you how to get all around that, because I can extract anything like that. I can't even snap. My thumb don't work. Anyways, okay, so depth. Every image needs depth to it. You're taking a two-dimensional object. You're putting all these components in there to create a story, to create an image that you want to be believable, and you want it to have depth. So you have to start, deciding what's important. Well, we got perspective, we got scale, and let's go through and there we go. Make sure I'm on scale. Now, I put this up here. I got these off the line just to give you kind of an idea of what scale is. Now, in my experience as a teacher over the past 25 years here in the photography world, and before that I was in the art world, I've seen some of the top competitors fall short on certain things. One is scale. The other is perspective. That's the two things people have the most problem with. How big is an elephant to an 8-year-old girl? You got to figure that out, right? You got to know what that scale is. And so there's a lot of things online that you can go and, depending on what you're working on, to give you ideas of scale if you haven't photographed it already. A lot of times when you're compositing, you have to guess on scale or do some research to kind of get pretty close. One thing you can do if you're photographing somebody and you need to make sure everybody in the scene is scale. Let's say you're doing a group shot, and there's 2 people that are 6'5", and then 5 people that are 5'5", and then 5'8" and 4 foot, whatever. You got all these people. You can't make them all the same size when you go do the team picture. Little trick you do. Ben Church does this well. I do it well. We take those little orange cones. We used to do it for the sports. The little that you run little things around. You just put it in the image and photograph all your stuff, and then you just size up the cone, and everybody's in scale. Very simple. That's something you can do right now. But with animals, I see a big thing, especially with birds. People make the birds too big, or they'll make the animals too big, or the animals too small. Like if you look down here and you look at that Bengal tiger right there on the end, look how much bigger that Bengal tiger is than the lion. Pretty amazingly, I mean, he's big. And I would put my money on the Bengal tiger, to be honest with you. Plus, they can pee 40 feet, so that's pretty impressive. But that was my inappropriate joke for tonight. All right. So anyways, you can collect these things right here, and I encourage you to do so. Even if you don't take my class, you take some of the other people, make sure you get your scale proper, okay? And, it refers to the size and element relative to other elements in the scene. And if it if it's not right, if the size is off, people with no art talent will be able to pick it out. They won't know what to tell you. They just know something's wrong. And here's the thing. When you do something, you do it good, you're not looking at scale at the end because you're just trying to get finished and you think it looks good. Then somebody comes and tells you, so, you're a little too close to it. I promise you, over the years, you'll desensitize yourself a little bit to where you can be objective with your own work as well. All right. Now, perspective. I'm big on perspective, and I don't know why perspective is so hard for people. I can make it very easily. Plus, you have a perspective tool, Photoshop, that you can utilize. But you got, basically 4 types of perspectives that you would deal with. There's some more of them, but vanishing points, line of horizon line. You got 1-point perspective, which you'll see right up here on. I have my little arrow, but you got the 1-point perspective, and then you got the 2-point perspective. Now look at the difference in the 1-point and the 2-point. The 2-point is giving you the bottom of the top and the top of the bottom. So it's coming at you like this. All right. As where the 1-point perspective is just going like that. Then you got your 3-point perspective, which incorporates both of those. And then your multi-point perspective, which can get just downright crazy. And then you ever see those little images where they do the little planets and they got the trees coming out and it's all turned? There's a program that does that. That's what that perspective is. And that's a 5-point perspective. And you can see underneath here, there's the inside there, inside, the side. And then you can see the top over here. So it totally gets that total shape of the sphere. Now, and I'm very good at perspective, and I can show you how to get it right every time in there. And it's almost like sliding things backwards and forwards. I can show you how, even though our sliders go up and down or side to side, I can show you how to take those images and make them go forward and backwards. And I'll do a demonstration later. All right, so now we've got composition. Now composition is my number one strong point. I can make a solid composition. I can create composition. In fact, on my 400 print case, when I purposely did everything that PPA told me I could not do, that it would not work, just to prove them wrong, and I did, and I got 4 100s in one case. I did dual lighting on my Magician's Dream, which is underneath lighting. They say you can never do that. You can if it's appropriate to the scene. Think about this for a second. If you're a director and you're directing your movie, you got you're either the photographer. Most directors are photographers, but you got your cinematographer, right? And he puts this whole look to everything. It gives a feel to it. It gives, they have to be able to compose it into where it makes sense, to where you go to the lead character, then you go to the secondary character. And all of these things there's so many different types of composition, but as a director, you have to be able to convey that to people, in your art, in your movie. You have to convey that composition. If you ever looked at like one of those real close-ups, you're watching a movie one night or at your movie theater, and it's that big long panel, 16:9, and what it was, that 1883 or like that Yellowstone spinoff or whatever, and they were showing a wide shot of Texas and the sunrise. Oh my gosh, it's so beautiful. That right there can literally captivate a person. I mean, they have to work on composition to be able to get that. And in Western art, generally considered to be balance, contrast, focus, motion. How do you create motion? You create motion by placement and angle and movement. And when I say movement, you create the illusion that it's moving. Anytime you put something, Amber and I were talking about this one time where I showed her in the image that if you have this going this way, that going that way, it creates motion. And what it does, it creates you never want a static eye on your images. You never want a person's eye to stay on the actual one part of the piece. You want them to flow everywhere you want to go. So, and I will give you so much lessons on composition. I'll give you aids that will help you very, very well. In this golden spiral, I've used it for all my students and, my mentoring and stuff. And people they become composite experts out there. It's pretty cool. All right. Now, contrast. Contrast is fundamental because you've got to have a contrast, but sometimes you can have too much contrast. Sometimes you have to lessen the contrast to be able to get the detail out. You can use contrast with contrasting colors, warm and cool colors, like opposite. And then you can also use opposites on the color wheel to do that. Light and dark, which Shannon did this. Remember that zebra piece you did, Shannon, with it had all that contrast. I mean, that contrast, it has a very graphic element to it. And so it's very appealing to people. Texture is really not recognized a lot in contrast, but it is. It definitely textures of rocks, of sweaters, of stone, whatever, wood. Contrasting shapes. You can use hard shapes, soft shapes. You can use contrasting size. And you can decide where your focal point's going to be, and you can work that contrast out from that work point. Now, I'm throwing a lot at y'all right now, but I want to give you a really true indication of what you're going to get in the class. I'm telling you, I'm opening up a can of whoop. This is Papa Bear University right here. And so we're going to go to the next one, saturation. Oh, before I go, this is a good example. I just did this collage for my daughter-in-law, and as with the pencil technique, and I did it with my wall art. You can see it on my Facebook page. With this pencil technique, the contrast is absolutely imperative for this to work because it will not work without contrast. And this is a good training tool to be able to do this kind of stuff to get very good at contrast. Saturation. Now, every photographer I've ever known, including myself, when we first started, we'd pump that saturation up. He's like, "Oh, look at my outside picture," and the greens will be almost blue-green, and yeah, it looks great. And if I want to make any of you feel better, one of my first composite pieces was a piece I did for a couple of mine, and I photographed their wedding. And then I composited these images. It was just a wedding in their house. It was just some friends. Anyways, I did this picture, and I was so excited. It's my first composite. I gave it to them, and I was so excited. I wanted to hear what they were. You know how when you show them, and I just can't wait. And they're just like, they're not really responding very well. Like, you don't like it? Yeah, it's great. Because I took them, I put them on the beach. I had some palm trees. I mean, I went all out on it. And Jim says, well, what's wrong, Jim? You don't like it? And he said, yeah, I like it. He said, I said, you don't like the palm trees? He goes, yeah, but we're wearing Christmas sweaters. So, I put them in sweaters in a palm tree. And so it actually, if I looked at it today, it's horrible. I wish I could find it. I think I threw it away. But there are going to be things where sometimes you can't see it. And a lot of times saturation is one of those things. Saturation, especially with reds will pull you in. If you look at this image here, this composite I did, and these were some images that I used. This is during COVID when we couldn't get out and shoot. And I actually used these from, they were Neil stock. These are not my models, but I composed them and created this whole thing. So I basically stopped photography on this. Can't use it for competition, but it's a great piece to teach with because it has a great composition. And it also has that storytelling quality about the legend of Brazos, where you have the storytelling composite, which creates a montage, just like the one with my daughter-in-law there. That tells the whole story through there. And look at the flow that it goes all the way from them where she's pregnant to here, all the way down. And, and so you can kind of play around with that. But just also hue and your lightness, how there's so much that you could do, especially with RAW and Lightroom when you go into the color mixer. When you go, you can do color grading in there now as well. We're going to be doing color grading in our class as well. We're going to show you how to do the movie, cinematic movie color grading with your images, which I've got my own recipe now, which is pretty cool. And color harmony. Now, color harmony is all that other stuff's great, but if it doesn't have color harmony, you better make it black and white because it's not going to work if it doesn't have color harmony. And this is when all the colors work well together. And what that means is that you got complementary colors. What is complementary colors? Okay, complementary colors are the opposite of the color. For example, yellow. The opposite of that is purple. Now in RGB, the opposite is blue, but in artist world, when the full spectrum of colors is purple. And then you got what's the opposite of green? Red. What's the opposite of blue? Orange. And so long as you understand those, and this has been my basis for my color theory forever. And and you can use colors to neutralize other colors. You can use colors to enhance other colors. That's why when I do my artwork and I work in there, you'll go in and you zoom in on my images, you'll see so much color in those that you wouldn't think would be there. Like my Raven, it's black, but it's got all these blues and purples and reds. And it's just absolutely gorgeous in there. And, but you can create a story just with color. Now, I always have a hard time saying this, and a lot of us can't ever say that, but these are ones where the colors are next to each other, okay? And so that means you got, to this side, to that side, and vice versa. And so you can utilize those colors. And what I recommend for every compositor, go to the art store, and they got these little color wheels that you can turn the dials on, and you can mix colors. And so if you need to know what you need to add to get that color, turn it and it'll tell you what you need to add to it to get to that color. So that's something very good. When Shannon and I teach our embellishing classes, we use this as a very vital tool, right, Shannon?
Yes, we do.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm getting my allergies are acting up. Now, triadic colors, which are colors that are equally spaced apart. And so that means that you just go through here and count how much. I don't even know how to say that, but I'll go more of it in class. But you can really create, and if you go and look at color swatches, go to Pinterest, look at all these color swatches, and look at like style. What do they call them? Style test, where they actually use these colors and create the like a marker image of it. But a lot of times you can go get these and you'll see colors that you normally wouldn't associate being with that. Like it may be something totally just crazy, but it adds to that green or it adds to that blue. And so we're going to talk about, and this stuff gets real technical, so we're going to go over that beforehand. Often color schemes. You can come up with your color schemes in the beginning, and at least you have a little bit better idea of where you're going. A lot of times when you go into something and you just let it go, that's a fun way to create. And sometimes it's raw, sometimes it's gray. But if you're going to be a compositor, you have to be, think of yourself as a home builder when you're doing a composite. You have to have a project manager, you have to have a site superintendent, and you have to have all these things come together. You got to be able to put all those pieces together. You're the production man. I mean, the job manager. You're the superintendent. You're doing all of it yourself. And so, try to educate yourself as much as you can on color. YouTube is outstandingly crazy. Atmosphere. This is the big thing that most people miss is atmosphere. What makes an image work? What makes it become 3D from being 2D is atmosphere, perspective, scale, blah, blah, blah. It creates an illusion because this is two-dimensional, but we want it to look three-dimensional. And a true composite artist can make two-dimensional stuff become three-dimensional. And that atmosphere can be done very easy. It can be done with color. It can be done with smoke. It can be done with overlays, almost anything. And I've got a way to create atmosphere that's very easy, and it'll blow you away when you see it. And some of my top people are using it. How are we doing here? How are we doing, Janelle?
Good.
All right. We got people coming in or no? Or
People have trickled in.
okay.
We're at 18 right now. A couple have had to drop off.
Okay. And also atmosphere perspective, which people don't really think about this too. When you're doing your atmosphere, you also have to have, when you're putting smoke in the image. I remember Dan McClanahan asked me on my steampunk Divine Steam, where I had that steampunk girl with the wings I made out of car parts. And he said, how do you get so much depth to your smoke? And I said, atmospheric perspective. It's the scale goes back further. And not only does the scale, but the value and the color tint shifts slightly as I go backwards. So the clouds are bigger up here, each layer. So think about, you got 2 layers in front of your subject. You got 2 layers behind your subject. Then maybe you got 3 or 4 layers behind that, in your background. All that can create an atmosphere which will pull your image forward and make you, the viewer, focus on exactly what you want. Just like this image here. And this one's called, it's not an image that got a lot of, it scored, I think it scored like a 98 when it was in, went long. But nobody wants to glorify Satan, right? But because I felt like I was doing a lot of images that I was depicting from the Bible, and this one's Follow the Morning Star, but I called it, Follow the Deceiver. Follow the Deceiver. And you look through here, if you look in the back, there's fallen angels in the ground. These little comets are all fallen angels. And it just, people loved it. But it's not something you're going to hang in your house, right? Because it's more of an illustrative piece. Now, with that. All right. Now, color priority. That can be, that's almost like an individual choice when you go into color, tone, soft edges, hue. All of these things can go through and kind of ease the edges, the color, atmosphere, can all make the edges soft, especially when you're using brushes like these brushes I made for the water on the split, splitting the sea. Now think about this in nature, okay? If you look out, say the Grand Canyon, and you look there, you're going to see right at falls, everything's going to be real vivid, right? And then as things start going back, things start getting smaller. You start seeing it, and then way back there in the horizon, you're going to see this big haze, and you're going to see the horizon line. You're going to see these clouds, and you're going to see all this. desaturated land that's all in front of them, mountains and whatever. And that's because when something goes further away from you and it's in atmosphere, it will lose saturation, it will decrease in scale. And so that's what pushes it back. And that's what also softens it. You can also soften a background without softening the edges just by the color, just by the desaturation, by the hue of the thing. So I get too excited. And now we get to finishing techniques, okay? How to bring it home. This is where I'd say over the last 10 years, the industry is caught up to where they can handle the kind of stuff that, we're doing here. And for a while, it was like you couldn't teach it fully because people weren't ready for it. Now everybody's ready for it. Everybody's more, it's more natural for them to be in Photoshop. They know more stuff. There's more composite out there. Of course, we've been out teaching all this stuff. All of us have been teaching. So we pretty much over the last 10 years did our job. We got it exposed out there. But hand finishing techniques, that's when you talk about hand finishing techniques, I'm talking about in composites in the computer. How are you going to finish this thing? How are you going to finish the edges? Are you going to paint it? Are you going to paint it to look like a painting? Are you going to use a painting technique to make it look like a photograph, but just make the whole thing a little softer, a little cleaner? My work all has a style. I don't care what I do. If you put them all together, you can see it's a consistent style of the artist. And that's what I want to help you do. Because another thing, and not to beat AI to death, okay, but there's no style because you do whatever. Oh, it looks great. Oh, it looks great. You don't have a body of work that has a style. And so don't get caught in that trap. Use AI to help yourself, but don't fall in that trap as an artist. And if you don't want to be an artist, you probably don't want to be in my class because I'm going to make you an artist and I'm going to pull it out of you. And this is like the Texas school from the last 3 years. Those on a scale of 1 to 10, what this one's going to be, they were probably a 3 compared to this 10 I'm bringing this year. So next on these finishing techniques, if you look at atmosphere, this is called I Am. Now, this is the image that Sandra talked to me about the horse. Are you still here, Sandra? I guess not. Anyways, I sent this image, and I had Moses. He was too small in here. She gets on the phone, and she goes, well, I really think you need to make Moses bigger because he's the story. So she played the back story back on me, and so I ended up making it bigger. This went long. This won a bunch of awards at Imaging. It won a bunch of awards at Icon. I mean, not Icon. It was WPPI back then. But these are very personal to me. These are images that mean a lot to me, and I put a lot of myself into them. Even though I don't, overly advertise my faith, I have a very strong faith. Known for all my sports stuff over the years. I don't do as much now. I still do dancers and stuff like that, but I'm just getting too old to walk that sideline and go photograph all these volume teams all the time. It's a young man's game, and I just want to create art now. But even this actually was in the World Cup in 2014, and this image this is from my son's high school year. This kid ended up playing in the NFL for a couple of years, and so did pretty good. Little storytelling, lying in the little lamb, and they're having a day with the dad. I love lions, and you'll see a lot of lions from me. You'll see a lot of lions from Shannon. That's because we're Leos, and this is the raven. All right, so now this is where I talk about all those colors, and I want you to look at all those colors in that image. I mean, it's black, and that's where when Canon, they said, oh, we want that one. Yeah, let's do that. Because when you look at the embellished piece where I got all the brush texture on it, it's incredible. And hopefully I'll have some pictures of that, what they did there. So anyways, we got that. And then, of course, here's my boy. This is one of my favorite pieces of all time. And this is Leo and Eddie's Big Adventure. Now, let me tell you, if you don't have an artist mind, you don't have a creativity, you're either going to copy somebody or you're not coming up with this. Because if you don't have the ideas to come up with it or have the grit to actually take a chance in doing that, like Leo there, the leopard. I mean, that was 5 different images, I think. I think tail was one, and then I had to put all these together. The little squirrel back here. I mean, it took. I think I had like 4 images of squirrels that I put together for this, and then of course these little rats. They were just one image, and this whole bike I built. Now this was a this part right here actually comes from a 3D image, and then I redrew it and repainted it, and I still couldn't use it in competition, but because I got other elements in there. But that's and then all these little gears and all this stuff, these were all different parts. This was also a rocket, little telescope I had, little globe, and little gears and all that kind of stuff. Even got a little Leica camera. And if you look here, the storytelling, you want to be able to capture the people's hearts. I mean, art is meant to create a reaction. And sometimes that reaction can be just, and every parent that saw this. And I will sell so many prints at Imaging because I got a bunch of prints coming of this one. They're smaller prints about like that. And I mean, this is perfect for every kid's room. And in fact, I'm probably going to be hanging one in mine. And this is some close of it so you can see some of the techniques involved. Now, this is not the embellished version. The embellished version looks even more incredible. And that's Eddie. This is Leo. And these guys back here are the little stowaways because this is their day out. And there's a little escort there. And then if you look at the gears and how you shade that, how you light that, how you make that lighting. So on my embellished piece, I went in and highlighted these a little bit better through here and got a little bit more warm light from the fire here. And but if you can get pretty close to that and you can get that kind of look into your images, it's going to be believable because basically what we are is an illusionist. We are creating an illusion of reality. People know it's not real, but they want to believe it's real. They want to believe that it's there. They want to believe that this could be. I mean, who doesn't want to see this guy riding around in the sky? And then there's my little squirrel. Look how cute he is. Got his little glasses on the edge. Little combat boots. He's ready to go on a little trip, and he's holding on to that. And there's my weird little mechanical bird there. He's lighting the way for everybody. And here's the fire in there, and you can see the detail in that. And so I just want, in my technique now, I'll tell you, you're getting the best Richard that has ever been. My technique is so sharp. In fact, I'm more at the top of my game now than I ever have been. And what you're going to see from me, I quit competition. I start competing again. Now I got the bug again. Now I'm fixing to annihilate. I'm coming. And not because I want to win stuff. I don't really matter. I don't care about trophies. I just want to create the stuff, and it gives me a reason to create it. It gives me a reason to do it now, and I just want to create this stuff. I got so many things that I want to do. And I want to share them with all of you, and here's a little bit closer. And this is a little technique that I used where I took a painted brush strokes onto an image, created a overlay of this, and then embossed it, and then overlaid it on here and put it in soft light. And then when I go and embellish it, and I embellish it with the embellishing gel over the top of it, it creates a barrier there, almost of a clear barrier, which almost gives it a 3-dimensional look. And it makes this texture come out even more. It looks more texture than it really is because it's all an optical illusion. It's free.
I see a spot. I see a spot that you missed.
Where?
I'm just kidding.
That's okay. There's probably all kinds of spots I missed. But I mean, at least I got all my hands on my kids, And look at Eddie, isn't he cute? So, anyways, So that's that. That's on basically what the class is going to be about. And but I'm gonna tell you what we're gonna do as far as on day one. And let me pull up an image here. Always get scared of Photoshop when I got all this stuff going at one time. Right now, do we have any questions while I'm opening this up? No? Okay. You can ask me anything, even if it's a bad question. Even if you don't like me, you can ask me something. Well, I guess nobody wants to talk to me. I feel lonely.
It's funny actually sitting here, I'm getting texts from people asking me if I think that they're ready for your class.
Well, that's what we're fixing. That's what we're about to get into. Are you going to be ready? And you're never going to be ready. Never. No one's ready for me. I'm just going to be real honest with you. But what I mean by that is you're never going to be ready, just like the perfect moment is never going to be here. You're never going to be at a point to where, okay, I'm ready to do this and I'm going to succeed. No, it doesn't happen like that. The real world is you look at something, you want to do it, you dive in head first and you go for it. Because if you don't go for it, you're not going to make it. You have to go in it with reckless abandon, with passion, and you have to go in there and say, I'm going to get this, I'm going to learn it. Now, one thing I can do is I can teach you. I can teach you how to be good. I can teach you how to use your tools. I can teach you how to think and how to apply those tools. Now, the reason in my classes, the reason I record my classes, and they're not the greatest recordings, they're recorded in class, and I don't edit them. I just give them to you at the end of the day. And last year we had some problems where we had some sound problems, but I think we got that fixed. But however, when you get those videos, like at Texas school, every day you'll get videos at the end of the night. Like you'll go to the Dropbox, you'll go download them. So if you want to go work in your room, you can. And or if you want to recap the stuff the next morning before the day so you can kind of get your brain refreshed, you can. However, those videos will be for you forever. However, this year I'm making everybody sign an agreement that they will not disclose the content of the videos, the content of the PDF that you're going to get, which is basically my composite encyclopedia. So you won't have to take notes. But I'm going to make everybody sign a deal saying, because this is not for anyone else except for who signed up for my class, who came to that class, who dedicated themselves to that class, who sacrificed for that class. Those are the people that deserve to have those things, not people that weren't there. And so if I catch somebody that gives it away to that, then I will come after you. But because I just, we all got to be honest, and there's just a lot of people just not honest out there. So I just want to tell you, we've all been burned. Sandra's been burned. Sandra's been burned. I've been burned more times than I can count. However, it hasn't diminished my positive attitude on helping people. And I didn't, and I'll be real honest with you, back in the day when I was on top of the game and I could, for a while I couldn't be beat. I didn't know how to handle it. I mean, it was a lot of pressure, to be honest with you. And I thought I had to be have this image. I thought I had to be this. I had to act like that. And then I had people attacking me, and then I got defensive, and I started getting too cocky because I was insecure, blah, blah, blah. Make a long story short. And those are the processes, though. Well, that was then. This is now. You look at me now. I'm just pure grit. You ain't gonna hurt me. You're not gonna offend me. You're not, and I know exactly who I am. I know exactly what I'm gonna do. I know, and you can talk to me or you can tell me whatever. That's all right. You can talk smack to me until we go on stage together and I whoop your tail. But I'm just saying that I know who I am. And so I'm not arrogant anymore. Now I talk, and then, let me clarify this. I talk, loud. I talk a lot of stuff because I'm a lot. When I come in the room, I'm like a cyclone. And there have been people in my life that wanted me to make myself small so that they didn't feel so intimidated. Well, if my presence makes you feel small, then you need to get out of my way because I'm not making myself small for anyone. And so, anyways, but just remember, you can do this. Now, as far as the class goes, you're going to get the videos. We're going to have dates, and I'm looking at the dates right now. We had some picked, but we had to change them. But I'll show you that in a minute. We're going to start in February. I'm going to get my list early this year. We are going to start our first class in the middle of February. It'll be about 2 weeks after imaging. And we're going to you're going to have some videos that you're going to go over. These are going to be Photoshop refresher courses. All the tools that we're going to be using in Photoshop, you're going to have videos, and I want you to train on those tools and learn those tools. You're going to learn about layers. You're going to learn about, extractions and different ways it extracts and all that. So, because we don't want to teach that in the class that week. That is a buzzkill. It takes all of your mojo away because you're spending all this time trying to take a background out. You're going to know how to take backgrounds out, and you should know how to do it already if you're an advanced person. But I'm going to have you the techniques that were going to make you better. And I'm going to put you, give those videos to you, and then we're going to have 2 more Zooms before Texas school. And then at Texas school on Sunday night, right after the meeting, I go up and get ready. We're already going to be ready to shoot. I'm going to have my Wranglers already have. The model's already going to be ready. We're going to have a model. We're going to shoot that night. We're also going to shoot a model Monday afternoon. But that's all we're going to do. We won't be doing costumes this year because it's just crazy. It was a fun thing to do, and it was a fun experience, and we'll do it again. But right now it's Photoshop composites, and and people need what I have to show, and because I guarantee you, some people take this class, they're going to be doing all kinds of crazy art when we get done. Now on Sunday night, we will go from basically about 8 to 10, and we'll shoot a model, and everybody will get to shoot them. Or if they don't, they can use my images. It's up to you. And then we will go down to the bar, and everybody have a drink, go to bed, whatever. All we instructors usually like to go down and just catch up with everybody before we get the week started, because during the week it's like you're so in it. I mean, it's intense. Now on Monday morning, we're going to come in and we're going to put that composite together that morning. We're going to start right off the bat. Day 1, you will have a composite finished at the end of day 1. It's going to be a simple background drop-in and how to treat the image. We're going to take you slow. And then the next one's going to be and then we're going to do photograph that afternoon, and then we'll go to the parties and do all that. And then the next Tuesday, which is going to be a long day, we're actually going to do a composite of the images that were shot that night before. We're going to do a montage composite, which is a storytelling composite like the Legend of Brazos, or the one I did of my daughter-in-law. And so you'll be able to learn how to do that, how to blend, how to make sure you have a good foundation, how you can blend from one image to the next and make it look natural. Now, and that will take basically a day and a half to do. And so that's Tuesday and Wednesday. And while we're doing that, we're also going to be getting our other images ready for our main composite, which is going to be a full-blown multi-environmental composite, which I will bring, you're not going to be doing that. You're not going to be making this stuff. I'll be bringing miniatures on the subject that we're going to be doing. And I'm still pinning that down and trying to get the model lined up. But I'm going to bring 1/6 scale miniatures. So not only are you going to learn compositing, not only are you going to learn how to photograph, but you're also going to learn how to photograph miniatures, how to go to the Hobby Lobby and buy your little birdhouse and bring it home, decorate it up, put some little moss around it, put some fog around it, and photograph it. Now you got a big spooky little village for your composite or whatever. So, but we're gonna photograph that, and Shannon can say, "How was that? What was that boxing ring like, Shannon?"
There was a ton of detail. It was very, very realistic. You would never know that it was a miniature set at all.
So, and
That's
it,
awesome.
yeah, it was fun. So now, so let me go and so and that will take that big composite will take us the rest of the week. Okay. However, there are going to be some people that are faster than others, right? So if you're fast, I'm going to have backup projects for you. So if you're a overachiever, which I always have some in my class, I will have multiple projects in the weeds ready for you to go. You know, if you get to that, so you won't ever be standing around. One thing we don't do is we don't have everybody standing around not doing anything while we're photographing. We'll I'll do my example, we'll photograph, and then I'll have you get up there. And then while that person's photographing, nobody wants all these people watching them. You may have a couple people helping, other people can be getting their other stuff ready. So that way nobody gets bored. Because you got to understand when you photograph, especially in these photography classes, when you got people standing around, people start getting grumpy. And if they get grumpy, they're going to be unhappy. And you don't want people to be unhappy. I want you to be happy during this class, and I want you to enjoy it, and I want you to feel like, man, it's the best money I ever spent. All right. So, and that will go till Friday. And usually on Friday, we will go in and kind of give our deals out and talk and, show a couple examples of some other stuff. But I think you'll really enjoy that. I will have a more detailed list for you. Like when we get closer to the class, the actual schedule will have more of times, like at 8 a.m. we're going to do this, blah, blah, blah. I'm getting very organized this year. I even got me some help for people to help me kind of get organized so it's not all on me. And Kenzie's going to be helping and things of that nature as well. So what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to pull up should have had this already open. I didn't want to have it open in case Photoshop crashed. Okay. Let's go to File. Open that up. Now I'm going to show you, I'm going to let this open up. I'm going to show you the layers. Sometimes some of my, like the Moses image with the burning bush, 2,500 layers. I wouldn't recommend that for anyone. We still got people on here? Or Lorraine, I just pulled up my deal and you were like this. All right, she's in it. All right, so let me get this open. So am I going too fast, or are y'all getting the information? Is it good? Okay. All right, so here is. Let me kill Keynote. Keynote's got bad history with me. It crashes things. All right, so I'm going to open up my bridge now. Let's cross our fingers. Oh, used to have photo mechanic on. This is my laptop. I didn't bring my bigger computer. So slow. All right, now it's doing that. I'll go ahead and start pulling this up. Now, this right here, this is basically what you call finishing. Okay, so I'm going to show you, like, this is a merged. When we turn that off, this is actually a merged image of all these layers. Okay, and so there we go. Oh. That was when she was looking at me the first time I ever photographed her. Here. All right. So here's the boxing ring. Now I'm going to just kind of, these are all what we call focus stacking. So in the class where we did the miniatures, I'm going to teach you how to focus stack. And if you've never done it, it is the most mind-boggling thing ever. Well, are y'all still there? Hello?
Yeah, we're still here.
Okay, I just lost my Zoom window.
We're here.
I didn't know if I crashed. Anyway, so okay, so I'm going to take this, and this is different areas where we're photographing so we could get that spot. But this was actually 1/6 scale. It was about, and these were all blended together to create an image that was totally in focus from back. Because when you do miniatures, if you don't do focus stacking, you see how that's kind of that gets a little sharper there. And all these put together will create an image. And let's see. I don't know which one that, but here's my little guys that I made. I'm trying to pull it. So this right here was basically a piece of foam on an ice cream stick. And this was gauze wrapped around there, and I wrapped that around there, and then I superimposed the skulls and the mask on there. This is the mask that I painted and kind of scarred and did all that. These are the little different ones. And to make this work, you couldn't duplicate any of them because that will be the first thing people will go in and try to see. There's part of the hands. This is the top of the boxing ring. This is the mat. I just did that in case I needed to use some of that area. See, it's all been painted pretty vintage and realistic. Feathers. This is an actual wing that I actually made. Let me see. I actually made this wing, and I'll show you in a minute the other files. I put all those feathers together. Oh my gosh. All right. So I got these layers. I photographed the wing in all different angles so I could have every angle possible. And then here's the crow that it was black. I painted it white. And then I put the eyes and I put those wings and made my bird. And there's another one. That bird's not real, but we made him real. And I took these little wings here and I got them off of a little, actually I saw at the dollar store, it was a little horse, like Pegasus. And I cut those off and then I photographed them and then I built feathers over the top of these. That's pretty cool. And there's my lighted ring that I did for another one, little parts that I photographed. And now let's go to there's the boxing ring. There's all the mask. And so, as you can see, these guys are just sitting in a little piece of foam. And photographing the skull. And see, I'm going to be real honest with you. We have gotten lazy over the years. And this is over the last 4 years, I went back into making everything myself and want it to be real and pure. And, there's part of the post on the boxing ring. It's another deal. And then there's the boxing ring in there. And then there's more boxing rings. More. And there's the actual things pulled out and photographed this so I could utilize this. So I have these forever. I mean, I can utilize these anytime I want. And then here, more rings. And these are all focus stacked as well. So it's in focus from the beginning all the way to the back once I combine these images. There's, there's the ring again. There's the hand. Now I took this hand. Good shot there, but I painted this and stained that. And you know what this is right here? That's cellophane from your kitchen. Laid it over top and put a heat gun on it and just melted over the top, made it look like dead ligaments and skins and stuff. Cool stuff. Not that everybody needs to know how to do that. More of the hand. Now, originally I was going to have the hand come into the image, but it didn't work. And so sometimes you'll go through all this work and you don't know. Here's the stools, and these are different things that I make, like that. I've added these pieces in there because I made armor in another image as well. Like these are backs of armor that I photographed with that I made. These are some pieces that I sculpted. I do three-dimensional art right now. These are actual I utilize these in my images, but these are 4 foot around. These are actually made to be. They're called photo props. You can hang them in your studio as a wall art, but then you can go and it hangs right over your backdrop, and you can photograph your client in front of them. And there's another one. There's another one. That one's pretty cool. That's about 4 feet in diameter. There's some of the wall art that I'm doing now, where I got fabric over here like this. Wait till you see this stuff. I'll have it in images. It's freaking nuts. My client is delivered to my client. I did one of these or whatever in Waco, and they were really happy with it. And well, she must be going to bed. So these are different things I made. Now, this was the set I did for my. I did all this at the same time, and these were for my angels. So I went out to Oklahoma and I photographed Robin for another piece, and I also photographed Mandy Corbell, Tony Corbell's wife, and her daughter Caitlin. And I'm going to show you that image as well. But this is the set that I made, and I photographed these pieces. Let me show you here. Okay. Oh, also, here's all the feathers that I photographed. See, and I just have it on a little arm, and I can angle that any way I want. And then that way, I can photograph that wing. I can make sure I know any direction I want it to go. And let's see. Here's the rest of them. Here's the bird. And the lighting is essential on this. You don't want to photograph these flat. If you're going to have a piece, everything that I put in these pieces, I photographed them all under the same lighting. And that, and then now, let's look close up again. See, and I can even, this is a little bit, I was getting more of this piece here, I was photographing it, but I created all this, I made all this, and I used cotton batting to put here. When I photographed it, it looks like fog. And so I made all that, cut all that out of foam. Close up of the top. It's not coming out. See if this is, there we go. So you can see all that in there. I got more in there, and then I think I'll show that yet in a minute. But that's basically some of the stuff that I created in here. Now I'm going to take this and move this over here. Let me go full screen, and I'm going to close this up. I'm going to turn this top part off, and that's my finishing. See, there's nothing else. Now I turn the layers on, and there she is again. But now she's all in layers, and so organization is very important when you do a composite, especially when you're working with this many layers. You have to make sure you name them. A lot of times I get lazy and I don't, and I always get mad at myself because I don't. But if you open these up, just because it looks like 4 folders doesn't mean it's 4 folders. So we got that one through there. Here's the middle adjustments. We have ambient light. We have feathers. We have front rope. Shadows. All the boxing rings. All it through there. We have that. That's just the smoke. That's the top part. Then we got group of our lights. And then we've got more smoke. Light upper left. See, there's folders and subfolders. Robin with her stuff. So this is Robin's folder. See, she turned totally off. We get her in here. Robin. So, and then it just keeps going down. Then we got Dove 3, Dove 2, Dove 1. Then we got the background. Then we got the ring. There's a ring in there. And then we go up here. All our little ghouls. I think on this one I merged those in. So this is not even my, I merged this file. I have to go back to one more to show Elise. But I took that because this file was so big, I had to merge that together so I could manage the file. And there's going to be little techniques, especially with painting. When you use a mixer brush in Photoshop, you're going to have to sample a layer to work with a blank layer. However, it's going to measure every layer. So if you got 2,500 layers, it's going to measure all those. So the way that I work around that is I come up here and I'll make a merge visible, which I have here. And I'll cut that off. Now, when I go to measure a layer, it's only measuring that one layer. So I could put a blank layer over the top of it, right there. Come in with a mixer brush and come in and start playing around with it. Now, I'm just doing something really crazy there, but the point is that if I have, and you can never paint on the layer with other layers above it because it will affect the saturation and the color of the bottom layer. So if you have layers up top, what I recommend is put these in a folder. That way you can turn all those off, and then you can just paint here. And then you want to see how to get atmosphere real quick? Just that little part right there. Take that, go filter, blur, Gaussian blur. Let's take that. Let's go up to about 1,000 pixels, 800 pixels or so. That's good. Okay, read that. Now, let's just look real quick. Let's turn it on and off. See? Now, we come down through here. We zoom in. Okay, so we got that little smoke. And say we want that little softer around it. I like the contrast, but let's say we want that little soft. Then we come in here and put a mask on that. Then come in here, and we'll come right here, paint it away from the mask, the gloves. Then we can bring this down, adjust the opacity of it, pull back. See, it's that easy to create atmosphere if you know what you're doing. I use the mixer brush to create this technique a lot. The reason why is that I'm using the actual tones and values, colors, and everything from this image. So I use the mixer brush, and then I come back and then I blur it. Then I can bring the opacity down. And then I can come in and bring fog over that or whatever and just kind of enhance it. But it's going to create that little misty, kind of dark little look that that is going to work with an image like this. And so And let me tell you, when you're working on an image like this, it's going to hurt you because it's going to take a lot of work. I'm not going to lie to you. It takes a lot of work, takes a lot of thought, takes a lot of you know, determination really to stay with it because we have a short attention span. And so I would encourage you to, when you're working on this, even now, even if you don't get in my class, go work at least 15 minutes a day on something that you want to learn. You know, if it's you know, some skin retouching, go learn that as much as you can. Become the best at something. People do things and they'll do one little piece like, oh, I got that. No, you don't. You only did it one time in one image. You need to do that 365 times in a year. You know, that's how many times you need to do it so it becomes habit. And I promise you, the reason people don't improve in composites and in Photoshop is because when they leave my class, they either go home and jump right into it, or they're so exhausted they need 3 weeks to recover, or they just don't look at it for 6 months. You look at it 6 months, it's going to be like taking it all over again. You have to hit it right away. As soon as you leave the class, you got to give yourself enough time to get rest up from Texas school. And then within that next week, you need to at least do 15 minutes a day, just kind of hitting it. If not, just maybe even refreshing yourself with the videos while you're working on other images, editing, just listen to the video so you get this terminology in your head. So in any case, that right there, when you get into this and start doing this, I'm going to tell you, if you've never done it before, it's going to blow your mind. You'll really have fun doing it because the mixer brush, and I don't use it like Sandra uses it. I don't use it like anybody else uses it. I use it differently, and I got my certain way I work with it. And here's the thing about techniques. You'll come to my class, you'll learn techniques. It doesn't mean you're going to use all of my techniques. You may have techniques you already like. You may be a really advanced Photoshop guy, and you know, I like my tech. It all gets the same place. It's not necessarily the techniques, it's how you put them in order that's going to make the image work. And you have to have that. And the only way you can have that is experience. And don't be fooled if you look at the work of the people instructor you're taking from. Does their work show what they're saying? Okay. And if my AI is transformed in business, have them show you check stubs where it did. So, they won't. In any case, I'm going to get out of this. And now we're going to talk about, are you ready for my class? All right. So let me pull this image up so we have something to look at. Oh, I don't know which one I want to pull up. This one is called Divine Welcome. So this is called Never Defeated in IPC, and no, this one's Divine Welcome, and then it's untitled, that icon. And that thing that I showed you, I hate it when that little wheel starts going. It means things are coming to an end. All right, so I'm going to zoom in on this. And this is Mandy Corbell. Those are the wings I put together. Created all this outfit for her, all with stuff I had sculpted. These are all art pieces that I photographed and used on them. And so we got them all dressed up during the shoot. And there's her daughter, Caitlin. If she does not just stunning. And so, and then this is the whole image. And all that was made by me. Now, maybe you don't care about that, and that's okay. I mean, everybody has their right to do whatever, you know. However, when this image does something at Icon, when that boxer does something at World Cup or IPC Icon, I will be proud of every inch of this image because I know what it took for me to make that background. I know what it took for me to get that look in there. I know how hard these wings were for me to get looking right. That it just like almost I felt like I spent a day just on these bottom wings because I couldn't get them to look right. And all this look, it all come from me. Now I got some AI stuff on different backgrounds. I got some stock images. I looked at that and I seen kind of looks I wanted. I used them for inspiration. And then I come over here and said, this is what I want. Now this time I wanted to go with some Art Deco feel. So I used LED lights in here and everything and photographed that with LED lights as well. And focus stack that. And when you look, you can even see I had a little wheel in the back. And this is one of those, and that's all, painted with gold and I don't know. I had fun doing this, put it that way. So anyway, that's the image there. Okay, are you ready for Photoshop? If you feel like you can navigate Photoshop well, and you can extract backgrounds or have the knowledge to, I can evaluate you and get you to the point to where, because you're going to learn all these tools beforehand. Everything that we're going to do in the class, you're going to study that. Now, here's the catch. This is the rub. I give this to people, but some people never look at it until the night before they go to Texas school. That's not what it's for. It doesn't do you any good. And then you hold the class back. And I will not let you hold my class back. If you're holding my class back, I'm gonna have to talk to you. And then if this class is overwhelmed for you, I'll say, let's get you in a class that's gonna be better for you. And I'll take her over to Shannon's or Shannon, or if we need to go more beginning like Michael Collins or something, we'll do that. But I want you to be comfortable. I don't want you to be afraid. I want you to be excited. I want you to be just like, this is going to be the best thing I've ever done. And because I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know where it's going to go. All I know is it's going to be a lot of information. And there's nobody in this school, I'll put it up against anybody. There's nobody in this school, no instructor that puts more into their class and that puts more into their students, that puts more into the videos and notes that I do. And Shannon can testify to that. So, right?
That is right.
Okay.
Well, not even just your class, like the people that you work with in general. Like you give your all, you're 100%.
So, and here's the thing, why I can help so many people and why I can have Kinsey in the World Cup and she's like, Kinsey probably whooped my tail and a lot of stuff, and Amber could whoop me, and Shannon's whooped me before too. You know why it doesn't bother me? I don't care, because I win. I win either way because I had a little bit of input into their journey. And that input that I give to them and they succeed, it comes back to me tenfold and makes me more inspired, more energy. And I'm 60 years old, and I guarantee you I can outdo most 40-year-olds. In fact, I'll go run 40-yard sprints with people if they want to, because I can do it, because in my mind, age is just a number. I know who I am. I'm youthful, and if you want to do this, and I'm just saying, if you wanted to do this, what do you got to lose? At least try it. And you'll have the videos. If you're not ready if you get to the class, you say, man, that was too tough. You still got the videos. 2 years from now, you can look at those videos and refresh and get back and get better. So you really can't lose. It's the best bang for your buck. I don't know how many more years I'll be teaching there. There's always a time where we need to let other people come up and do it, but I want to make sure there's good people that come up, and that's why I'm mentoring Kinsey, because Kinsey is going to be awesome. Let me tell you. Isn't she, Shannon?
Absolutely. Yeah. 100%. She's fantastic. It's been really cool to watch Kinsey grow over the years. So if you're worried about keeping up with Richard is like fine-tuned Kinsey, and she's going to be working the room to make sure that if you are missing a step or she needs to get you caught up, like that's why we have our wranglers. Same with me. I have Jeff, who's my associate here in Colorado, and he's going to be there, and Terrence, who's been with me every year of Texas school. Like, good wranglers make a huge difference for instructors like Richard and myself.
And it's, in fact, Kenzie, Shannon and I met Kenzie at the same time. And then she come up to our embellishing class and we talked to her and worked. Shannon talked to her a little bit. I talked to her a little bit. And she was real confused at that time because she kept getting it by. She was a true artist. She had this really, I call it a crunchy technique. She's really detailed. And of course, when we were in embellishing class, I took one of my images that was like this beautiful zebra, so photorealistic. And I had it coated with this coating. And I told her it was bulletproof. And of course, I started throwing paint on it and meshing paint on it. And Kenzie's over there in the fetal position having a nervous breakdown over there. And then I just wipe it all off with lacquer thinner and see, it's perfect. And, you can do whatever you want to. But she was real confused because here's the thing, that when you get in this business, you're going to be pressed to make money, right? And so money sometimes overpowers your education, your learning. And sometimes you get out there and you start working and then you don't further your education until later. And people say, oh, you need to be this, you need to be that. Well, Kenzie's one of those rarities she's so original, and she's got more talent in her little finger than most people have in their whole life. And everybody kept telling, oh, you need to change. You don't need to do stuff like that. You need to do this. You need to do that. You have to do that. And she came to me and Shannon, and I just told her, I don't want you to change anything. We're just going to fine tune you because you don't need to change. You don't need to do anything. And when you start putting money, and I told her this year, and I said, look, I know this sounds weird, but I want you to put your business second at the moment, since she's got a husband, she's got a full load. And I said, and I want you to focus on her art, on your art, and I want you to create, and I want you to believe in it. And she did. And she scored how many hundreds this year? I don't even know. She started hitting every competition, all these state competitions, 97, 98, 100, 92, and all these images started coming back and forth to the point where somebody on there was like all freaking out that she's winning all the time. But the thing about it is sometimes you don't.
This actually might be a really good time since you're talking about it. Somebody has a question, Tammy.
Okay.
She said, I love his talent and I have been a fan for many, many years. And seeing his Zoom, my question is, will this class be good for taking home to use in a studio business for clients, families, children, seniors, or is it just creating competition images?
No. Well, in fact, the only reason I use competition is because some of the people we have there. None of this is really for competition. I mean, I'll put it this way. You never do anything for competition. You create your art for creating your art. Now, that means that you can create client art. You can keep personal art. It just depends. Good example. Do you know how much money I've made off of stuff like this? Staggering amount of money. I just delivered an order to my clients in Rockwall, and I mean they ordered a bunch of these. I did this style for them on the stuff and their kids, and we did this big flag shoot and everything. I'll have some of those examples there, and this just went nuts. It went on the back. It wasn't this one. But it went on the back of their Christmas card. Like, for example, here's something. It's past time, but I'll show you this quick. Oh, my, I can never find them. Okay. I photographed their daughters. I don't do sports anymore, but this is a really wealthy client, and they're oil and gas people, so I'll drive out to Texas just to photograph their volleyball game. This is let's show this real quick. This is an image that I just did from just snapshots of this boy. This boy came from this is Mark Keldorf and their family. They're just the best Christian people you ever seen in your life. They've helped me so much in my life and been there for me. This kid, he came over from, I think it was El Salvador. I can't remember what country it was, but father was gone. It's just him and his mom, and they started babysitting for them. And Mark kind of took it, kind of helped him and watched him grow up and stuff. And this kid got into college by himself. He did all this stuff by himself. And so Mark bought this 2025 truck, paid cash for it. He stole money in his car, took his car, gave it to something. They gave it to another lady at work, didn't need a car, and they gave him this new truck because he earned that, because he worked so hard. He didn't ask for anything. He just kept plugging away. And I did this for them, and it just flipped them out. And they ended up getting like 10 copies of it. And so this was this is the image on the back of the oldest daughter's card. And so I did this. Was on the back of the card. Of course, I did this for all the kids. There's, all the grandkids. And they just flipped out over this, and they've ordered. I just delivered these for Christmas presents, and then she's ordered. They've got like 4 different houses, so she ordered them for all her houses. So when I get an order, they order from all the houses. So I'm like, and they're such good people. They never ask how much anything is or anything. That makes you even more honest. You want to make sure you keep those people happy. And then this is the other ones, other kids. And you think that, is that big a deal? It is to these people, because when you put them together and the way you present them, and I think, so there. So this is the presentation I did for Maddie's. Okay. And that's actually carved out of foam. And it's hard as a rock. I mean, I got a coating on it, and I basically got this 3-dimensional look to it. And let's see. So here's what it looks like from the side. More dimension. Here's the thing you want to remember, okay? Even if you're doing Photoshop art, composites, photography, whatever, with all this AI coming around, I'm telling you, I'm into the people. Like these people here, they talk to me and stuff, and they, because people are using the AI for headshots and stuff like that. They think it just looks. People don't look like that. It looks silly, but that's their opinion, and not everybody has that opinion. But people want texture. They want dimension. So whenever you present your items, try to find stuff that you can present them in, floating frames or, whatever. I'm going to have some of these pieces here. I'm also going to be offering this at Imaging for studios. And I got a new product coming out called Wall Art. And it's basically a thing that can take 5x7 and 8x10s and turn them into a piece of art on the wall. And the reason people don't buy big prints now isn't because of the money. They don't have the wall space. And most people that have money hang big images of art, not photos. So you have to turn the photos into art. And then they will get it. So let's see, I'm going to show you that. There it is. Now this is how I presented these images. This is the look right there. Real clean, real minimalist. I've got a whole minimalist line that I'm doing, in which the minimalist line works really good because of the artwork here, especially with this pencil look. And I can teach you this pencil look, and I mean, you get it down. People, this sells so crazy. I sell so much of this stuff. It's crazy. I mean, over the years, I've made a living off of this. So, yeah, everything that you do, okay, I want you to think of this. The stuff that you're going to learn is not just going to be for you creating art. If you want to enter a competition, you can. But I get more joy I mean, look what I did for my granddaughter. Look what I did for my son. I did a picture of my son like that, you know. And let's see, go to that visual. Like I did this of my son and framed it and everything, and you know, to that, I mean, that just blew him away. And when you think about this, these aren't just images. These aren't just arts. When you do this for gifts and for family and stuff, this becomes a family heirloom. That thing will be with them forever because it has meaning to it. It has emotion to it. It has their experiences in that because we chose images that they identified with to make them, you know, to make this piece. And this is one we did for her just to put on the shirt because evidently I did one that was too big, and I could print stuff on my shirt, and this was mounted up onto her shirt, and then that was the piece that was, you know, anyways. So to make a long story, to make a long story short, yes. And I want you to think about this. Think about instead of going out and buying somebody like, you know, some pad or something, think about making them something personal that will impact them for the rest of their lives and let them know exactly how much you care about them. Because when you give somebody a gift like this, it has so much more meaning than you will ever know. I mean, it is. Shannon?
You got two more questions.
Okay.
I know you are doing a montage. Will it be this pencil style?
It can be, yes.
Okay. And then are you going to go over how you can market or how we can market ourselves?
Absolutely.
That we
create. And the thing about it is you have to get this out in front of people. Biggest problem I see with people, they start marketing with nothing. Oh, I'm going to sell this. Well, where's your work? I don't know. So you got to get some work done. And what that means is that you have to be willing to spend some time to get you need at least 4 or 5 pieces of this style or similar styles like this to be able to get that to across to people, because we are so visual as artists that we think customers are visual. They're not. They can't see jack. I mean, some of them can, but they can't see anything. You can talk all you want to them, and they'll go, okay. But if you show it to them, then all of a sudden you hit something that's inside and not on the outside. You start tugging on those little heartstrings because when they see that stuff and they go and they imagine, think about this. Think about, and all those images that I used weren't just from my camera. They were from my iPhone. They were from somebody else's iPhone and stuff like that. Think about you took a collage and you got a grandmother who's alive and she's fixing to have her 80th birthday, but she was so in love with your grandpa, right? She misses him every day. And you come home for her 80th birthday and you took one of those old pictures of your grandpa and you did this collage of their life. What do you think it's going to do for that lady? See, this is not about ego. None of this is about ego. None of this is about competition. None of this is about money. I want you to put all that aside. Money will come. Because if you go out to market this stuff for money, then you're going to lose. You have to market it for love. You have to market your love of your art, your journey, and you want to share that with people. And when I talk to people and tell them what I did and what I was feeling when I did this, because this little girl right here, I mean, I took the picture of her mom and daddy straddling each other in Colorado, and we were up there, and I said they're going to have a baby, and they got pregnant that year, you know, and so it's a big laugh around there. And I've seen that little girl grow. And to me, and getting to know these little guys better, I mean, it's just, I'm very fortunate and very blessed. No matter what's happened to me in life, God has blessed me more than I could ever believe. It's just unbelievable. And, but they want to feel when they look at this art. Now, senior portrait's great. Yeah, but most of the senior portraits, you pop them up on the wall. They used to buy bigger ones, but now they're not buying them as big anymore. Because what happens? They go down after a few years. After they get out of college, they're going to go down. They're going to go in some closet somewhere because they usually change that stuff around. Because there's not enough story to it. This will never come down, ever. Never, ever. It will not come down because it's a family heirloom. And that's what we have to understand about our clients. Our clients are wanting us to give everything that we have inside to make their dream come true. And sometimes they don't even know what their dream is until you show it to them. And you know how many people I got right now that have contacted me that want that collage like I did of Mandy there? You know how many people want that? Now I'm going to do it for all the sisters and all that stuff. So now I got myself in trouble. But the money will come. I'll show you how to price the stuff. I'll show you how to do it. And here's another thing. Don't give this stuff away. You work your butt off for it. And the cheaper you sell something for, the less they appreciate it. If they pay a lot of money for it, they value it. So don't give your stuff away. Don't give it away for ego so you could be some, I'm so big time. I've been through all that. I've been arrogant and stupid and butthead and all that kind of stuff. And now I'm, all I want is my grandbaby, my art, and God. That's all I want. And that's exactly what I'm getting at now. And so let me show you this here. This was their now American flag. You say we want American flag for Christmas picture. Going, that's a tough one. But this was their family. And I got that in one shot. I had to fix the hair on one of them, but I got it. And I got every one of them. That's the first time I ever did that family where I got them all in one shot. Isn't that cool? It's fun. And this one on the back of the Christmas card, and then this one. And this is them with the grandkids. And that one on the back of the card. And that was all their grandkids there. So, and I put the God Bless America on there. And they're very good Christians, and they love America. So, any other questions on that? No. All right. So that's basically my class and what we're going to do. And I will promise you this: if you give me a shot, I will get you through it. As long as you've got a good understanding of Photoshop, and we'll talk when you sign up and you get signed up. I will make a call to everyone on the individual, and we'll talk about it. And then we're going to go over, and then I'll even give you a shot after the first lesson that we do. Whether if you still feel overwhelmed, we'll get you in another class. But I don't think you're going to be overwhelmed, and I don't think you're going to want to get out of it. Just to show you one more thing, I photograph everything I do now, and I build everything I do. Now, I'm not saying that's for everybody, but check this out. So I built this tree. I sculpted this thing, and I built this whole thing. And let's see if you look at the detail in this. And I've used this tree on a couple different shoots now. Well, that's weird. Oh gosh, spin a wheel. Okay. No, something went weird there. Huh. Anyways, I don't know. I must have hit something on the color, but I carved all this. and made out of foam, and it made all this here. This got resin in it. There's a little pond in there as well. And these leaves come on and off, so I can change it from fall to whatever. I just did a scary scene with a tombstone. I did some skulls in the ground, and I got to finish that up, but just for kind of a Halloween piece. But these come off, and it looks like a scary tree. All these flowers can come off, and then you can make it barren, or you can change it to any season you want. And here's the beautiful thing: I've had people offer me $1,500 for this already. It's about this big. I mean, it's like 4 foot wide. It's 1/6 scale, and it's a big tree. And so I got it sitting over my corner of my house because it looks cool and it looks like a piece of art. But these things, you could do this stuff all day long. You can go to Hobby Lobby. You can even get one. You know, they got those little stick trees over there, and you can build some foam up around it. You can get some. You can make whatever you want. And I just did an embellishing, like a cosplay class for some special people, and they were building costumes and building trees, and we're gonna meet back in the end of January and complete all that. But they're just having a blast. I mean, they're learning how to do this, and anytime, like Kinsey, I turned her onto this little plastic that you can melt and you can form it and just sculpt everything. And it's only like melts at 160 degrees. And she started making teeth and everything with it. It's like, okay, so you go, girl. But anyways, this stuff right here can really, and here's another thing too. I think it's very important for every artist. Now, I'm not saying, photographer's an artist, but sometimes there's some people who just want to take pictures. But I find if people have artistic talent, they love working with their hands. So what's a natural thing to do is embellish with colored pencils or oils or whatever afterwards, or even build you some stuff like this. Build you some floral arrangements and photograph them. Make you a little village, whatever. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff at Hobby Lobby and Michael's that you can get and photograph every day. So, all right. Well, I kept you 2.5 hours, so I'm going to let you go. But we got any other questions? And I thank y'all for those of you who've tuned in. I really appreciate that. I'm going to stop my share now so you can see me. And but I just want you to give it some consideration. It's on the 3rd. You can go check out the other classes. And again, if I'm not for you, you got Shannon, you got Amber, you got Sandra, and a guy, I can't believe I didn't mention Rachel. I forgot Rachel was teaching in here. This is Rachel's first year that she'll be here. And she's teaching, and she's a credible artist as well. So you might check her out as well. I'm not an option for you. But in any case, I'll see y'all later. Thank you very much. Janet, thanks for coming on, and thanks for, entertaining me.
Picking up the load when I disappeared for a little bit.
Oh yeah.
No
Did you have to go to work?
I did. Yeah,
You
I
laid
got
down?
paged. Huh?
You laid down?
No, you turkey. But I did get paged, so I was gone for about an hour.
Oh, thanks, Shannon, because I thought she quit and left.
Nope.
Well, I'll bill you later.
Yeah, thanks, Shannon.
Yeah, okay. Well, anyways, hey, do me a favor. If you thought this program was good, if you thought this gave enough information for the class, please go on the Texas School page and share it. And there's just a lot of things going on this year that we need to promote. And this is Don's last year. And I want to make sure Don Dixon has the best year he's ever had for this Texas school. And I want to give him the best class. I want to have the best reviews and all that kind of stuff. So help me if you can. Get out there and spread the word. And if y'all are wanting to come in, let's go do it because we're going to have some fun. So, what kind of stuff's popping up? All right. We'll see y'all later. Y'all take care.
All right. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
I made you host, Richard.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
Bye-bye, everybody.